looking forward for all of you, where do you think the biggest upside opportunities lie?
Happy to start, Carla, on our side.
Sure.
I was going to say, look east, not west. I think that's probably a bit too simplistic with the Inflation Reduction Act that we mentioned, but I do think the opportunities in all areas of clean tech look at the moment for us to be more east than west. India having the biggest population now, the cost of electrolyzer manufacturers in China 65% cheaper than we can make in Europe. The production cost of solar and hydrogen, green hydrogen, in places where the sun shines and it can be exported, in countries that are used to handling and exporting gas and energy, feels like where the opportunities are going to be. I mean, it's a hugely exciting sector to be in. I think there's huge tailwinds for us to follow on to. The Inflation Reduction Act is game changing. Everyone's thinking that way. And so maybe looking east isn't as simplistic as I'm making it out to be. But it really feels like we're at such an exciting nexus now. I was reflecting back with someone last week that in the 1920s, Chicago had more electric charging points for cars than it does today. And it feels like we're at that inflection point again of what's going to be the fuel of choice for what types of vehicles, what's heavy vehicles going to use, what do cars use, what are going to be the modes of energy and power that we embrace. And it's wonderful to be part of shaping that. And I think finally it's a great place for investors to be. Clearly, we're a lot of money going into that area. But we continue to tilt our heads eastwards rather than westwards for the moment. Thanks for that.
Okay, Renga, over to you. You're sitting in the best place possible, sounds like.
Yeah, true. I think it's again, James. It's none of the areas, as I said, there are 3 buckets in our region. I don't see a reason why any one of them would stay back. I think all the 3 buckets would go full throttle. But I think there are some areas like the green hydrogen and then the storage technologies. These are 2 or at very nascent stage, and would need a lot of investment and resources at people level and the capital level. And there, the technologies are also going to be changing thick and fast. I think these are the 2 areas I would say, if you have to call that as an upside, keeping all what others we spoke have already started and it is growing. But these things, new storage technologies and green hydrogen, these are the 2 pieces which would see a large upside, which are at very nascent stage now.
Thanks. And Jeff, what do you see?
Carl, I'll also take it from a little bit of a segment perspective. I think I like clean energy, which I would put in renewable solar, battery technology, things like energy management as a big category, and also electrification, which would include EV mobility. I think if you look at those 2 segments, that's getting the lion's share of the investment, and those are areas that have a lot of funding and incentives and regulation that are going to go drive it. So I think those areas are going to be huge. Now, again, as I said earlier, that also makes it a little bit more challenging and uncertain given regulatory, given infrastructure, is it ready or not in terms of the grid, things like that. So I think it's going to be bumpy, but I think those are going to be, significant growth areas and significant opportunities. Not just in the next couple of years, but beyond.